Hey YouTube, it's Magician34, and I have a deck, just kind of a casual deck that's a lot of fun that I call Light Dragon, and I thought I'd share it with y'all. Give you an idea of what kind of deck this is. I'm running 3 Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragons for starters, and I'm also running 3 copies of Light and Darkness Dragon. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you up front, this deck runs Photon Sanctuary. That's part of the principle of the deck. We're also running 2 copies of Sorcier de Fleur. We've got a lot of ways to double tribute to get into this, but more importantly, lots of ways to special summon Sorcier de Fleur. And that's kind of the point, and it can steal stuff from your opponent's grave and do all kinds of cool tricks. Not too hard of a card to get a hold of because it's not in high demand right now. We're running 2 copies of Dimensional Alchemist. It's a good way to power cards into your hand and whatnot, and it's also a light monster, which can help because we do have a little chaos in this deck. We have Sangan. Goes and searches a lot of stuff we're about to show you. Running 2 copies of Spirit Reaper, a lot of decks have trouble getting over him. Yeah, you can do a random pitch from your opponent's hand, but more importantly, he's a dark monster that doesn't die in battle. Doesn't hurt that he's level 3 either. We're also running 2 copies of Marshmallow. Similar reasoning. 1 copy of Gorz, the Emissary of Darkness, another good way to get 2 tributes. And a good beat stick to boot. We're also running 3 copies of Battle Fader, because a lot of times, since you don't have a lot of summoning monsters, you'll have an open field or something like that. Battle Fader helps you get around getting beat down by these one-turn swarm up and kill decks. We have 1 copy of Effect Veiler. This you largely search with Sangan. 1 copy of Honest. We have just enough lights that this is pretty justified. It can be a really good trick under the right circumstances. Basically, you can use this in combination with Light and Darkness Dragon to set up unexpected plays where you just run stuff over. This card also plays surprisingly well with Dimensional Alchemist because people kind of expect that you're going to let it die. We're also running 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier. He's our only Chaos monster, but he's a very important one. Note that he's also the 9th level 8 monster that we run in the deck. That said, we run 3 copies of Photon Sanctuary. It's just an amazing card. It makes you 2 tokens, and you can only summon light monsters off of them, basically. Like, for the rest of the turn, the only thing you can summon is light monsters. So you go Photon Sanctuary, make yourself 2 big tokens, and then you sack them both to summon a big light monster. Concept of the deck, obviously. 1 copy of Monster Reborn goes and gets those big monsters out of your grave. Dark Hole. Good field cleaning. Heavy Storm. 3 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, because blowing away those back rows is just that important. And the reason I was talking about level 8 monsters, we run 3 copies of Trade-In. This can help you get those big level 8 monsters into the grave so that you can play with them with Monster Reborn and Call the Haunted and whatnot. Help you keep your big monsters where they belong, on the field. Here's another way to cycle them into the grave, Monster Reincarnation. It may seem like an odd pick at first, but it lets you cycle those big monsters out of your hand and get smaller ones that might be more useful. It's a good way to get back Gorz for repeat uses. If a Battle Fader ended up getting sent to the grave, you can bring it back. You can use this to go get Honest. If you were forced to trade in your Blackluster Soldier, you can bring it back. There are a lot of really cool uses for this card. It's surprisingly good in the deck. We're also running 3 copies of Call of the Haunted. Obviously, you can go get the big giant monsters, except Light and Darkness Dragon, of course, with this. But another thing you can do with it is, you know, if all else fails, you can always use it to go get Alchemist or, say, Sangan to keep your hand coming. We run 1 copy of Solemn Judgment and 2 copies of Solemn Warning. These are just your good stops. Solemn Warning stops just a few too many things to not run it. As far as the extra deck goes, we only have the 1 tuner, and we don't exceed a lot, but we have some cool options thanks partially to Sorcier de Fleur. Speaking of which, Sorcier de Fleur opens up surprising ease of summoning Decisive Armor. Basically, the idea here is if Sorcier de Fleur sets it up just right, she's level 8, you have some 1-star monsters that are tuners or not that you can normal summon out of your hand, and if she steals a 1-star from your opponent's grave, you can sync for this guy. Obviously, if your opponent has light monsters, not that uncommon, he can be pretty cool, but he's just an attack promotion when you just need a really big monster. He's an option. I'm not saying he's your ideal play all the time with Sorcier, because a lot of times he's not, but he is something cool to have around. Just an option. 1 copy of Stardust Dragon. 1 copy of Scrap Dragon, because Veiler plus Gorz can equal either one of those guys. Black Rose Dragon. Sorcerer can be your ticket into this, or 2 level 3 monsters, and then your Veiler, obviously. Bryanak, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. Sorcerer, Steel Cyber Dragon, Summon Veiler. Ally of Justice Cataster. This is just a 4-star plus your 1, obviously. Same goes for Android. And oh, look, what a coincidence, a light and a dark, so you can get either one to facilitate a BLS in your hand if he's looking a little dead for you. Also, we have Armory Arm, just because you can sink for 4 fairly easily, and this thing can be a good reanimation target. Formula Synchron, because we can make that guy too. It's good to draw cards. We run 1 Utopia. 1 Maestroke. This guy's really awesome. He's the I Don't Die in Battle Book of Moon. He's quite good. Wind up Zenmain. Levier the Sea Dragon. Tempo. This guy can get rid of Zenmains and whatnot. He's a pretty cool guy. And last but not least, Leviathan Dragon. He's just a good, reliable beat stick that doesn't come with the drawbacks of Acid Golem, which in this deck, Acid Golem could be a real liability. So, anyway, that's the deck. It's Light Dragon. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and check out my channel for more cool videos.